Brenda, good morning and good to see you this morning. What is the latest from where you are?
Well, Ken, I'm here at the Chiromo funeral parlor. In just a few minutes now, we expect that the postmortem will be conducted on the body of the late Stephanie Moraa, who was shot dead on Saturday morning in Mathare. In fact, as I speak to you right now, I can see the parents of the late Stephanie just walking into Chiromo. The headquarters earlier told us that this exercise will be taking place from around 11 a.m., so we're just about a few minutes into that. But as they walk in here, expecting to get the clear answers they seek as to what happened to their daughter. Earlier on, just about 30 to 40 minutes ago, I was at a presser by the Nairobi police boss Japheth Koome, and we did ask him exactly what transpired in that incident in Mathare, and he said the death of this girl was the result of an exchange of fire between police officers and what he says are criminal gangs in that area during the protests that erupted after the announcement of the presidential election result. Other than that, he also sought to assure Kenyans that business is back to normal. Normalcy is returning to the city, the CBD, the other parts of the city that had witnessed pockets of protests, especially talking about areas like Mathare, Lakisama, Kibera, Kawangware. He says that the citizens of the residents of the city rather should not worry about that. His men are in charge, talking about a combined force of the police, general service unit police officers, administration officers, Kenya wildlife officers, Kenya prison officers who've been gazetted to serve as special forces during this period. So, Ken, that is what we're expecting here. We expect that by 11 o'clock, that exercise, a post-mortem on the body of Stephanie Moraa will begin. Ken?
All right, Brenda, the obvious question that a lot of people watching you from Chiromo are asking this morning is, yesterday you covered that story extensively. You spoke to two witnesses, I bet different places, who gave the same account. And right this morning you asked Japheth that question and he answered it the way he did. What goes through in your mind? Do you leave this balance to the public to judge the police and these two witnesses? Or do you think as a reporter you have a third perspective to this?
Well, Ken, like I mentioned correctly yesterday, we did speak to two people who say that they swore they saw what happened. That the person who shot the late Stephanie Moraa was a police officer with the General Service Unit. They say that this police officer actually lined up, took aim for about 2 minutes, and then discharged his weapon. But the police boss saying that that is not true. That there was an exchange of fire between his officers and a man who was armed with an AK-47. So they have promised, the police have promised that they will carry out investigations, but I think it is out there in the court of public opinion who exactly they would want to believe. But I believe what is most important for the parents of this girl is just to know exactly what happened, because when we spoke to the father and the mother yesterday, they said they went and held their little girl in their hands as she took her last breath from that bullet wound. So for them, I think what they would want is closure, and just to know whether exactly where that bullet came from, whether it was from the police officers or it was from the criminal gangs as claimed by the police officers. So it is a question that they will be seeking answers to, and that search for the answers actually begins here at the Chiromo mortuary, where after the post-mortem exercise has been conducted, they will exactly know what killed their daughter, and it will be up to the police to tell them where that bullet came from. Ken?
Brenda, indeed. The other question that we obviously are asking, we have seen a lot of postings on social media. We've had a lot of people interact with family and friends from those areas that were specifically mentioned by the police commander, Mathare, Lakisama, Dandora. We have relatives and they have shared overnight their experiences. There's a video online of policemen patrolling Lakisama, and obviously he also denied that there were attacks yesterday. Yet throughout the night we received the reports, and this is also a question that you pressed him on.
Indeed, Ken, we did ask him about that, and he says people should treat that as propaganda. He says there have been patrols, yes, but no one has been hurt, no one has been attacked, and if there's any attack, it has not been carried out by police officers, rather, but what sort of became his phrase, criminal gangs in Nairobi. He says that people who are armed in this city who are taking advantage of what is happening to sort of run wild. But he says people who are spreading, especially he actually had a very stern warning, Ken, to people on social media who are spreading what he says is propaganda. Says he's actually going to arrest a banker who has been spreading what he says is false information to the country over social media. So he says we should disregard that. But like you mentioned, there have been people saying that these things actually happened. So it is very tricky times, Ken, because on one hand you have people saying that they saw these things, they witnessed these things, they are victims of this issue, and on the other hand the police saying no, this is not happening. So it is very, very interesting and tricky times that we are actually facing as media, because it is our job to fish out the truth, and it is something that we hope to do as these events continue to happen, Ken.
And finally, Brenda, we caught it a little late in the press conference when he was speaking about the military, but I got the sense that he was explaining that there are no military that are involved in this operation, and he has not requested or asked for backup from the military. Just tell us briefly about that.
Yes, Ken. Actually, he did say, like I mentioned earlier, that there has been a special force that was gazetted to help restore normalcy or just maintain peace and order during the electioneering period. But that force does not include anyone from the military. He says he is certain that with the resources, the personnel at his disposal, he does not need to call in the military to beef up security at any point. He says the city is safe. The police, the the GSU, KWS, prison officers have been enjoined in this force to just this service for this particular period. But he was very categorical that no military personnel have been involved in this exercise so far. Ken.
All right, Brenda, we'll be checking back with you at around 11 when the postmortem begins. We have seen quite a number of people coming into Chiromo.